Happy Monday. Here's what we're doing today. We're doing number 8 on the playlist. I'm going to scroll down, and this right here is what you guys see on your playlists. So you're reading about the Ferguson case. You're completing a hashtag if they gunned me down activity. And then you're reading about the Women's March on Washington. There is a response. So if you see here, all of this Venn diagram and this highlighted in blue right here is what you're doing for the response. You don't have to write it right in here on the playlist. I actually made you guys, and I'm going to show you this linked slides presentation. So on the agenda for this week, okay, it says for Monday, use number 8 on the or work on number 8 on the playlist. Use this link to complete. That link right there will take you right to this. So the first thing you're going to do is make a copy of the presentation. So you're going to go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Once you do that, so see File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation. Once you finish completing that, you're going to hit this little folder. So I'm going to use my little circle up here in the left-hand corner. It says Move. That's where you're going to move it into your name folder. Remember, that's the turn-in folder. It's the virtual folder we set up in the very beginning of the school year. Utilize that space to turn in this. So this is all number 8. So again, you don't have to actually complete anything. Let me go back to your playlist on here. Okay. Instead, you're going to do the Google Slides presentation. I made it a little bit simpler for you guys, so it's all in one spot. So the first thing you're going to do is read about the Ferguson case. So here's some pictures that goes along with the Michael Brown shooting, Missouri case that happened in 2014. So I just want you to kind of click on it. I find it kind of um, I feel like it relates to what's going on in The Hate You Give, and it gives you a little bit more insight into things that are happening in our society, in our world. So it's kind of getting you out of the Allegheny County bubble to see, okay, in the world, what's happening that's kind of similar to the events in the novel that we're reading right now. The next thing we're going to do is click on the next slide number 3. This is the If They Gunned Me Down case. So, along with the Michael Brown incident in Ferguson, they created a trending hashtag. It was called If They Gunned Me Down. I gave you a quote that kind of went with it from page 64 in the book. Did you realize that if he does become a hashtag, some people will only see him as a drug dealer? And I think this is important. Not that any of you can ever relate to this, but I think it's important to see how we can sometimes be conveyed depending on the circumstance or who wants to convey us of something to depict us of either a villain or kind of a protagonist or a hero. They use images. We all have, the good side image that's, the scholar, um, the positive light that we are depicted. But then each of us has probably maybe an embarrassing picture on the internet or circulating on cell phones or something. So it's kind of just to give you guys that overall perspective of wow, how are people going to portray me if I ever get convicted or in trouble for something? Are they going to see the good that I am? Or are they going to try and grasp at straws to find something negative about me? So this is the activity that I want you guys to use. Read this page. You can browse the internet using the hashtag if they gunned me down, or if you have social media like Twitter or Instagram. Most of them are on Twitter. Go ahead and kind of filter through those if they gunned me down posts. And it's alarming. It's really sad, is what. I mean, if you look at some of these pictures, if this person was convicted and not even found guilty of a crime, which picture would they use? The news. This is your template. So on the left-hand side, you can do your negative picture, or it doesn't really matter. And on the right side, you can do your positive picture. Uh, and then here is the Women's March on Washington. I did link the article for you. So in chapter 13, which you guys have definitely already read, Students from Williamson ditched class to support the Justice for Khalil protests without really understanding or having authentic concerns. Now, our school actually, I believe it was 2 years ago, we had our own walkout, and it was organized. The students led it. Everybody walked out peacefully, and they had to understand why they were doing it. It wasn't just to skip class. So that's something actually we can relate to in our own Allegheny County example. But then here is the Women's March on Washington. I'd like you to read a little bit about it. And then on this left-hand side of this bubble, there's already a text box for you. You just have to type. So type here what the article's perspective on Women's March was. Was it positive? Was it negative? What did they feel was the purpose for the Women's March? Was it successful? On this right hand side, you're going to look at Star's perspective. Did she think, I shouldn't really say Women's March. Let me delete that. Okay. Because it wasn't, it was the Khalil protest. So, Khalil's March. And actually, I'm going to call it a protest. So I just want you guys to kind of see the similarities and differences. And that's it. That's for number 8. As long as you get that done by Friday, you should be okay. And again, make sure that you put this in your name folder. That's really important. Otherwise, I will not be able to see to grade it. All right, guys, that is it. I will see you again. We don't have school Tuesday, and Wednesday is a pause day. So if you need me, reach out. I will check back with you on Thursday.